what does this do, you could see, is the racket moves one line back, and then from this line back, then later it's gonna go down under the bow. So keeping this line really gives you that nice rotation of racket, high to low, getting under the bow and lifting the bow up on the hit. And I think this is more efficient, and you could feel that by doing that, as I said, because the racket creates velocity on its own and can really help you get under the bow and produce that more efficient and bigger forehand for you. While taking the racket on the side, now you could see how the racket, you could learn it like that, of course, and you could become very good at this. But I just want to share what I believe to be the most efficient technique for developing a very big forehand or making that forehand a weapon that you can rely on. So if you take the racket to the side, now the racket goes sideways, and then you could go back and let it drop again under the bow. But what I'm saying is that when you take the racket straight back, now the racket creates that velocity on its own later when you drop, that accelerates from low to high hitting that bow. And you could really feel the difference in that swing and in that technique. The racket goes back, feet pivot. This is basically the first step that we're doing on that unit turn, and from here the racket continues going backwards. Now you could see from here my arm is not going to be here, it is not going to be there, but it's going to be straight behind my shoulder, and in this way really helping me turn very well and later create the power into the shot. I see that some players have a problem because they're not turning all the way back, they're turning halfway, and then later they have an awkward timing on the forehand. Some players have the forehand too far back, and in this way putting more pressure on the shoulder. So you really need to simplify it and clean that swing. So having the racket go behind the back, behind the shoulder, one line, will really help with that nice turn. Once you take the racket back, and you could see the racket behind me now, watch the racket face of the racket, how it's tilted. It is not to the back fence, it is really to that middle fence, and you will find that most tennis courts have the middle fence at the corner, and I really like using it when I teach kids starting in this sport or players that really want to improve the forehand, that the racket, when they take it back, to point in this way to the middle fence. And thus the racket really creates a very good angle to drop later and grab the ball better and give more topspin. Also, another very important point, as I said earlier, moving the wrist, is that you really don't want from that ready position to move the wrist. You really want to keep moving the racket back without wrist movement, because we really want to stay clean in the contact point so we can really hit it clean and strong. Another point you could see is that my left arm turns sideways and extends, because in this way I'm going to really make a good unit turn and involve my body much better by having this shoulder turn, my arm straight to the side, keep it shoulder level height. You could be a little higher, just don't go too high, it's really going to mess up your balance. You really want to keep this arm pulling to the side so you could really stretch the part and later give you that nice use of your body, a source of power, and you really put it into the shot. As you're taking the racket back on the unit turn, keep the left hand at the neck, and this is going to help you support yourself and give you balance in your swing on the turn. But also from here, you really let that left hand go to the side, and it helps you with that nice turn that you're gonna do and give you that nice preparation to hit the ball.